Welcome back, regular viewers. Thank you for all the support, the likes, comments, and subscribes. We really appreciate it all here. This week we kind of did things in a different order. So let me show you what we got here. We're going to talk creature baits, right? Everyone's favorite topic, creature baits. So we start out by making creature baits. I made these. I used a little bit of this to make one of these right here. We made this mold. So after we made that mold, we made a selection of soft plastics right here. And spoiler alert, they worked. So let's get to that process right now. We'll start out with the montage of how we made these little beauties right here. And my more astute regular viewers may notice this shape down here. The youngest regular assistant, high five, came up with this creation. We'll talk more about that in a bit here. All right, so you just hang on, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. All right, regular viewers, welcome back. The lures that we were working on have dried.
Yay!
So they are back now from their stay at the polyurethane-a-thon chamber. Yes, I guess so. So they're all dried and they are ready to go. So they'll be nice and slickery for the plaster mold, which is what we're making next. So let's bring on our Made in America mold box here. Down here at the bottom of this one, I have this little creation that the youngest, high five, regular assistant whipped up here while we were working diligently on ours. She put that together with scrap pieces we had. So we'll make it up and we'll see what happens. I think it could be, maybe a frog. It could be like maybe a sunfish. But, we're trying to make a punching bait here, creature bait. And I think it fits the bill for that. So now I need to remember how I had this set up. Oh, and today's sprue is a dentistry tool that we use for a drop shot. It works for a real nice drop shot. So rather than, again, waste a sprue, we are going to use it for another fishing lure. So that's going to be the layout of it right here. We'll put our locators right here. Mm-hmm. So now we need to get on to our favorite part here. Why don't you get out the star of the show? You know him, you love him. Who is it?
Dap Plaster Paris.
All right, round of applause, everybody. Thank you for Dap Plaster Paris. All right, so while we get started on this, the youngest regular assistant is going to apply petroleum jelly to the mold box here, the Made in America mold box, so that the plaster doesn't stick to it.
Like
again,
a quick, dirty, and
Made in America.
cheap mold.
It's a quick, dirty, and cheap trick.
Method.
It's a quick, dirty, and cheap mold release. That's right.
I can't open it. Could you, please? Thank you.
So we take our brush, right, and you're just going to paint the inside of it. Get it all just like that, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I have been agitating this for a while to the point now that I'm agitated. And if you have any more bubbles left, I use this brush here, this chip brush that the handle sacrificed itself to become the paintbrush handle lure. And you just kind of drag that along the surface here, and it will take out any other bubbles that arise. But that one looks relatively bubble free, so we'll start with our Mr. Sprue, how do you do here in the corner?
Mr. Sprue, how do you do? Sitting in the corner.
Okay, we'll
so you're basically making 4 lures at the same time.
Basically, yes, that's basically what we're doing here. It's always good to have your friend All. Say hi, y'all.
Hi, all.
Uh-huh.
Hi, y'all. All. Hi, y'all.
Okay, straighten that dog out.
Oh, you see?
Don't worry about it. Okay. One thing I just noticed is this still had plaster stuck in it, so we're going to clean that out. Not over this,
but under it.
That has a hook slot in it. This little number here was 3D printed by my nephew Ben, so thank you to him. And that was really cool to have access to that 3D printer there and make up a couple little creations. So if you have the opportunity or the means, I highly recommend it, as Ferris Bueller said.
Who's he?
A guy who skipped school. Bad example.
Bad example, reviewers.
Mm-hmm.
And after we're all done, we're going to say hi all again. Hi all again.
All right. I think we want to put this guy in first.
I know.
Right there.
Oh. Just drop him in. And then drop him in again. Okay. And we're going to make a pathway, aren't we? Like,
well, yeah, after it dries.
Yes, sir.
We don't have to worry about that right now.
Yes, sir. We don't have
They just have to be close. They don't have to be perfect. Okay, now we're going to put in your little feets here. That you picked out. Which these were bits from a...
shoe flip-flop holder?
I think so. I think they were bits from a flip-flop holder that we got at the Dollar Tree for you and...
I wish they were a sponsor.
Your brother.
And me and the August radio assistant.
That's the guy.
Okay, so he stole the foam from our art projects again. Which I'm alright with that. I don't use it. Neither does Alice regular assistant. Let's put in my little arms. I'd say it's a little frog.
I think this is backwards than from the way you had it. Rats. Oh well.
Oh well, it's okay. The bass won't notice. Because they're the bass. And now we're gonna...
Yeah, because you had it so it lined up. I got it backwards there, don't I?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It still looks the same.
Okay, well we can make that look a little nicer when we're done there. But that's it. Oh, what did we almost forget?
Locators.
Locators. Thank you, young lady.
Over here.
Okay, let's locate a couple of those dogs.
Oh, don't worry again. She said, you said it. You said it.
Okay, locate. Ba-ding.
Can I put one
Ba-ding.
in?
Right here. Oh no! Put one right there.
Still works. Ba-ding.
Thank you. Okay.
That one still works.
We'll get it out of there.
Yum.
We'll get it out of there, just so it doesn't look ugly. We wouldn't want this mess to look ugly, would we now?
No. How about we put one right there?
No, I think it's sufficiently located. So we'll just let that harden, and then we'll do side deux. All right?
Yes,
Thank you for your help.
Let's wait
Great
a few
work.
hours.
All right. Okay, our plaster has set up. Let's remove our locators. Can we put on a generous slathering of petroleum jelly, act as our mold release. Now again, I say this every time, but if what it is you're molding or making a mold of, that's not right, making a mold of has a really specific, pretty, beautiful, luxurious pattern to it, brushing it with polyurethane will mess it up because it's going to add streaks and stripes to it. If it is repurposed garbage, like what we use here in the regular shop, and these are one-offs and prototype stuff, then it doesn't matter. Slather away. All right, regular viewers, our mold has had plenty of time to dry, and I think we got some pretty good results here. Obviously, we've got some bubbles on this side, but I don't really care. This side came out phenomenal. This was the bottom, so I just got to figure out why it was. I think this one was a little more liquidy. I don't know why it trapped so much air, but there we are. Things that we got to do before we can pour it is obviously we've got to break open this sprue here so that our injector can fit in like so. It should fit in nicely on both sides there, as you can see. We do have to make some channels here for our plastisol to get down in to these lures here. That's all we'll do, is just a little bit like that. This one got a convenient bubble right there where it needs it, so that was, you know, a happy accident, as Bob Ross used to say. Okay, and last but not least, I put these arms in backwards than the youngest regular assistant when she made this creation, so we'll just kind of...
It's fine. The bass won't notice.
All right, so our mold is almost ready to go. We got the regular assistant here, putting petroleum jelly on it to act as a temporary mold release. And we're going to smother the whole mold with that, leaving no stone unsmothered in it. And then if we like how it looks without having to do any more carving, that's when we'll add the permanent mold release, which is what?
Polyurethane.
Thank you. All right, so let's get this cup of plastic on. What we're going to make here is a June bug type color, because I'm sure the name June bug and soft plastics probably belongs to somebody with way more money than I have. But what we're going to color it with is oil-based food coloring. This is the cheapest way to color your soft plastics right here. And if you want to see about that video, link in the description below. Okay, but other things we need are green sparkles. All right, I think we're cooled off. Let's check it out. You ready there, youngest regular assistant?
Can't wait.
You can't wait.
Because it's in when it has one of my words. Ooh.
Not too bad.
It's not too bad. It's great.
It's great.
I love it.
That came out, huh? Look at that.
Yay! Is that hot?
Well, it's still a little warm. You can feel it.
Well,
Not
that's
too bad, huh?
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. High five. All right, there they are. Our punch bugs. We got a little bit of heat problem right there, but let's cut off this.
But hey, the bass won't notice.
The bass won't notice. Well, hopefully a bass will notice and eat it. We got our drop shot worm right here.
And we got another lure.
A drop shot sprue. That's right. Okay, so there's our drop shot. Here's your little guy.
He's a little cutie. It did mess up there, but hey, it's still good.
Yeah, that was because the mold's cold, so we had a little bit of heat pull in, but that's okay. So we got a couple different styles to try here. Let's get our mold up and running again, and then we'll shoot our version of a green type pumpkin, okay?
Oh,
but
wow.
That's not a bad way to start right there. All right, let's see what we've got here.
Oh boy,
I don't expect injection perfection. Well, we got everything. We just got a bunch of flashing that time. I don't know what we did so different, but whatever. We can make this work. We'll cut this flashing out, and we've got our green pumpkin-y color. All right, so we're going to make up a couple more of these, and then we'll show you the results. But other than that, we've got a working mold. All right, so that's what we made. They all came out lovely. We got several of them to use. So that's our green pumpkin on a bug, and that is our June bug. We got our drop shot sprue worms there, and these little bugs over here, and then my youngest regular assistant's creation, and that's what color is that again? That's the green pumpkin, and then in the June bug color there. So
great color.
all right, so for this project, I found these hooks on sale, actually up in New England, and but these are for flipping heavy-duty cover, which is what we're gonna try to do with them. And then I whipped up this little Swinghead Jig for it, but this time I put a snap swivel in it, so that you can put it on a different hook if you want. So that was pretty neat. So let's try to rig one up here. Okay, well, that just explodes open like that. And these are lightning sharp, so be careful with that. All right, so there that is. So that's how we're going to use that lure right there on the Swinghead Jig and on these punching or flipping heavy cover hooks. So we'll take that out here and show you how it worked. So we got to our favorite spot just as the sun had come up over the horizon. It was a beautiful morning. So right after we arrived, we saw what the bass were doing that morning. They were chasing shad all through those lily pads to the point that the shad were actually leaping out of the water onto the pads and the birds were scooping them right up. So given these observations, I adapted the lures that I brought for the feeding pattern I was watching.
That's how you do it. Amen. I see you watching me. Not today. Swinghead Jig with the homemade creature bait. Sir. There we go. Homemade creature bait on a homemade Swinghead Jig. That is a beautiful bass. Beautiful bass. On that Swinghead Jig with our homemade creature bait on it. Beautiful bass. Thank you, sir. A really nice bass. That's the youngest regular assistant's creation in its mouth right there. He wanted every bit of that. Yes, sir. Thank you to the youngest regular assistant for this little creation again. Another beautiful bass on it.
Sure. All right, regular viewers, we are back. As I told you, we were going to take those lures out and try them out on the water, and I did just that. Let me show you what I got here. So this is combining the week before's video, the Swinghead Jig video, and this creature bait video right here. I was able to rig up our little creature bait on this Swinghead Jig, and it was just the right size for what was going on that day. We had bass feeding on shad all over the place, and I know this isn't specifically shad colored, but it's not. It was close enough that that they weren't upset about it, I'll tell you. So I ended up catching a good number of bass on this setup right here, and it worked really well. Most of these guys got all beat up and are going to already have to be remelted. So another thing I tried, I had a couple nice fish on this, but I missed them both, and then the weed guard fell out, so that was no good for me. But I used the chatter bait with it sideways instead of flattened out like on this jig here, say, and just to give it a nice fishy profile. And of course, with these legs, with the chatter baitness going on, as it's chattering away, these legs were flapping along like a fish fin, and it was a nice compact profile. I was kind of hoping it'd be like a sunfish looking thing, so that wasn't too bad either. I like the way it worked. Probably going to have some luck here in the future, but like I said, that day it just happened to be that shad was the obvious target. So, but I did like that setup. And then I had these other couple. I had this is a tungsten weight here. What is this, a 1.5 ounce, I believe. It's very heavy because that lake does have some very heavy cover. I did do some punching with that, but there was just so many distractions with the bass blowing up on shad that I focused on catching those feeding fish in that feeding location rather than, spending time punching the grass mats where the bass clearly weren't feeding. So we didn't do a lot of that. I ended up using this guy here. And
caught you the most.
Yeah, I caught a bunch of bass on the youngest regular assistance creation. Right, so I thought I was prepared, but as usual, I wasn't because I'm just regular. So this is a weightless hook that I had tied a little flashy swimmer on and just put a little bit of red bucktail out the back for funsies, I guess. So, but I just had this weightless on here, and this profile has a hook slot built into it. My nephew Ben made this for me on his 3D printer, and then the youngest regular assistant took that shape and added these little legs to it, as you saw at the beginning of the video. So again, they were chasing shad up to the surface and up on lily pads and stuff like that. And the shad were about this size right here. So I said to myself, why don't we put on this deal here on a weightless hook. The flashy swimmer, just to give it just a little more shad flash, because that's not really a shad color per se. And I started dragging this across the lily pads where the bass were busting the bait, and then dropping it down. and just fan casting around in those areas. And then I started to catch some pretty nice fish on this. So I did miss a bunch because these, if you haven't been to Texas, you get lily pads that are bigger than I can show here. Sometimes they're like 2 and 3 foot around, or across rather, and the stem on them are quite stout. So when you catch a bass in them, you have to get them up and over the top. If they get down in it, it's sometimes very hard to get them. They would get wrapped around that stem, and it's kind of like Goodnight Irene. But anywho, all that to say, the lure was effective. Here's one that got the legs eaten off. It's all tore up.
This one got the hands eaten off.
And so it worked. It did what it was supposed to do when it was supposed to do it. Never would have thought, you know. But hey, good job, regular assistant. You came up with a nice bait that worked well. So I think you know, if they're focused on sunfish or frogs, even this color probably wouldn't have been bad, because again, I don't think it really mattered. The shape, the profile going over the lily pads, I think was the most important part. But yeah, if you find like, you know, spawning sunfish and things like that, I think this would do well for you as well, because of the color and profile there. So these are what we the situations we had set up and how we used them, and it was effective, as you just saw. You saw the fish that we caught with them. Had a very good time, and I'd like you guys to try out making your own creature baits. It's really not that difficult, as you saw here. I'm using pieces of junk wood and just pieces of plastic that I've saved, little plastic shapes to make the fins and the tails and the wiggly bits.
And the biggie parts.
Yep. And just by throwing those together with a little plaster of Paris and some imagination, and we came up with these presentations here that were all effective. So I hope you try it out. I'd love to see pictures of it if you do. If you do, please send them to our email address right here, regularguylures@gmail.com. Is that right? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for your enthusiastic response. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please leave them below. Other than that, you stay regular. Hey, what are you kids doing?
You stay regular.